Ahikrishi. The statement urges journalists to continue to train and retrain themselves to be more ethical and development-oriented. It adds that with the new trends in information and communication technology (ICT), journalists must continue to improve on their job. Similarly, the Nigeria Union of Journalists, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria Headquarters Chapel, has hailed its members across the country and the entire pen profession on the occasion of the 70th anniversary since the establishment of the union. A statement by the chapel chairman, Comrade Tesu Zambi, says journalists have worked very hard under difficult situations with little motivation, but have remained resilient and resolute in the drive toward nation building. Comrade Zambi maintains that the 70th anniversary of the NUJ calls for reflection with a view to improving the working conditions of journalists, particularly those in government-owned media organizations. The NUJ chairman, FRCN Headquarters Chapel, called for better welfare for journalists in the FRCN to be commensurate with the noble work they do to keep the corporation's flag flying. Comrade Zambe urges journalists across all strata to keep hope alive for better days as they continue with the onerous task of informing, educating, and entertaining the society. A former All Progressives Congress APC chieftain, Mr. Garros Golulu, has assured Nigerians that the nation's political landscape is changing for the better. Mr. Golulu, who spoke with Radio Nigeria after joining the Social Democratic Party, SDP, at the party's national secretariat in Abuja, said the time had come for Nigerians to face the realities. He said joining the SDP was the best decision that would provide the national cohesion needed to advance democracy in the country. Mr. Golulu therefore urged Nigerians to carefully study the political developments in the country and join hands to get the country out of its socio-economic challenges. Similarly, former Chief Security Officer to General Sani Abacha, Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, also visited the national headquarters of the SDP to register his membership. The Deputy Speaker of the Anambra State House of Assembly, Mr. Chukwuma Okoye, says the remarkable leadership and transformational impact of the state government the last 3 years have had a great impact on Anambra, particularly Oka, the capital city. The Deputy Speaker, who told journalists in Oka, said Governor Chukwuma Soludo has kept to his vision, which is to transform Anambra into a livable and prosperous homeland. Mr. Okoye said the governor has completely redefined the infrastructural outlook of Oka and beyond, as the Oka 2.0 project has repositioned the city as a true mega one, aligning with global urban development standards. He noted that the massive road construction projects built with durable concrete technology have improved connectivity, decongested traffic, and enhanced the overall aesthetics of the state capital. Mr. Okoye said with iconic projects aimed at boosting leisure, hospitality, and business, Oka is fast becoming a hub for visitors, investors, and tourists alike. The All Progressives Congress APC has urged its members to emulate former President Muhammadu Buhari's loyalty and commitment to the party due to his recent endorsement of the APC. A statement by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Felix Moka, lauds the former president for swiftly clearing the air and putting distance to efforts by certain individuals to tacitly associate him with their nonplussed political choices. It adds that the former president's unalloyed loyalty to the party, the platform on which he was twice elected as president, has further reinforced his reputation of astute integrity and dignified elder statesman. To Ogun State, the government has flagged off the Vehicular Emission Control Scheme as part of its efforts to prevent hazardous air pollution from vehicles. Speaking during the event in Abeokuta, the Commissioner for Environment, Dr. Ola Oresonya, said consultants from Ogun State Environmental Protection Agency, OGEPA, will be conducting tests and issuing a certificate. He noted that the Vehicular Emission Control Scheme was not just a regulatory requirement, but a step to protect the health and well-being of citizens. In their separate remarks, the Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, Bolanle Muritala, and the Commandant, Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Agency, Mr. Shemi Ogunyemi, stressed the need for uniformity in the operations of the scheme across the state to avoid unnecessary confrontation. The flag-off ceremony had transport unions, vehicle inspection officers, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the Emission Control Scheme consultants in attendance.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation. Health is in our hands. We all have a part to play. It's time to get informed. Take care from the start. Did you know HIV/AIDS, syphilis, and hepatitis are preventable, treatable, and no longer a death sentence? Knowledge is power. You can live a productive and good life. Test, treat, and get the help you need. HIV can be managed with treatments. Syphilis is curable with antibiotics, and hepatitis can be prevented with a vaccine. Regular testing is key to staying safe. Together, we can stop the spread of HIV/AIDS, syphilis, and hepatitis. Prevention is key. Get tested today. HIV/AIDS is not a death sentence. Awareness saves lives. Visit the nearest public health facility today. This message is from the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON.
The Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, CON, in collaboration with the Ballet Energy Institute of the University College, London, cordially invites critical stakeholders in the maritime industry, environment and policymakers to the African Strategic Summit on Shipping Decarbonization with the theme Ensuring a Just and Equitable Shipping Decarbonization for Africa. Date, Monday 17 to Tuesday, March 18, 2025. Venue, Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja, Nigeria. Time, 9 a.m. daily. Strictly by invitation. Olufemi Olorontola, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Still on the 70th anniversary of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, one of the burning issues for Nigerian journalists, among other myriad of challenges, is the issue of welfare and remuneration for media practitioners. And so I earlier interacted with the national president of the NUJ, Comrade Hassan Yahaya, on strategies deployed so far by the union to address this issue.
Yeah, first of all, let me begin by congratulating Nigerian journalists for seeing this day, a day set aside for us to celebrate this profession. As Nigeria is agitating and clamoring for independence, so as in Article 55 started the process with platform that we call NUJ, that is serving responsibilities of protecting journalists in Nigeria. One key issues we came to realize is issues around remuneration and issues around insurance for journalists. Let me start with the issues of remuneration. First of all, we have our own plan. We want to see how we'll be able to present what we call a media enhancement bill before the National Assembly, and already NUJ was able to identify key stakeholders at the National Assembly that are willing and ready to sponsor that bill. This time around, it may interest you to know in the 7th Assembly there was a bill that was presented before. It has reached second reading, but at the end of the day, the bill was killed by those legislators. This time around, NUJ is serious and ready. We are going to engage senior colleagues who are going to develop the bill, and as well as we are also going to engage a sister organization like Guild of Editors, TAU, as well as International Press Council, and so many other organizations that are working in line with our thematic area to make their own input before presenting the bill before the National Assembly. I want to use this opportunity and sincerely appeal to all of us as journalists. This time around, let's come out and blow the trumpet for ourselves. It is high time for us to stand firm and protect the profession so that we'll have what we call very good remuneration for Nigerian journalists. We also have what we call a plan B for that. As I'm talking to you, there is a bill that has been passed at the State House of Assembly in Adamawa State. What that bill is waiting for is just assent by the governor. If that bill is assented by the governor, we want to replicate the bill to the NEC, whereby NEC will adopt the bill and distribute across the 36 State Council of our great union, so that we'll commence advocacy for the full implementation of that bill at the state level. If you can recall vividly, there was a time when allowance was approved for the Nigerian journalists, especially journalists working under federal media agencies. Then I was chairman of NUJ. I was opportune to get a copy of that approval. I took that approval before my governor, and the governor approved it. And our state media journalists started to implement and benefit from the UN allowance. I did not stop there. I brought that approval before the NEC ratified and distribute across the country. And today, as I'm talking to you, more than 30 states are benefiting from UN allowance from the initiative by federal government and federal media agencies working under Nigeria. So I want to assure you that at the end of the day, we'll smile, but I want to sincerely appeal to all of us journalists. Let's give that bill a support so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to have what we call a good package for practicing journalists in Nigeria.
All right, can you tell us about insurance for journalists? Because that's one issue that has been highlighted over time or over the years.
When I was campaigning, I promised journalists that for those that are working under training agencies, that is what we call NHIA, a National Insurance Agency, whereby you'll be able to assess quality healthcare for a token, with the sole aim of reducing what we call maternal mortality and increasing what we call universal health coverage, and also giving people to access quality healthcare from primary to tertiary healthcare. So this time around, we want to see how we'll come up with such model whereby journalists working under correspondence newspapers will be able to access quality healthcare package from primary healthcare to tertiary healthcare with a token of 15,000 naira in a year, and I believe it is doable. So very soon we are going to commence that exercise in Gombe State, that is my own state. The exercise is already ongoing in Edo State and few other states, but I want to see that journalists across the country who are not working with state government or federal government will be able to also assess the quality healthcare in line with the government plan and agitation of reducing what we call maternal mortality and increasing universal health coverage of our dear country, Nigeria.
Before I let you go, have you had engagements with the media executives on this issue of welfare? Because yes, you have a good plan, but to avoid conflict of interest, don't you think the media executives need to be carried along?
Yes, like I told you, definitely we are going to engage all of them, and I believe they will likely give us that support. But I want to assure you that this time around we mean business, that we won't allow somebody to hold us to ransom.
That was the national president of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Comrade Al-Hassan Yahya, on strategy deployed so far to address the issue of welfare and remuneration for media practitioners. Operatives of the Makurdi Zonal Directorate of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have impounded 8 trucks conveying suspected illegal solid minerals. They were arrested at Kasinala local government area of Benue State. The solid minerals, suspected to be fluorite and iron stones, were recovered from the trucks. The minerals were mined from some illegal mining sites in the Lugu local government area of Benue State. A statement by the EFCC spokesman, Dele Uyiwale, says the suspects will be soon charged to court upon conclusion of investigations. Meanwhile, Justice Nasiru Saminu of the Kano State High Court has convicted and sentenced one Bulama Abdurrahman to 7 years imprisonment without an option of fine for posing as an auctioneer assigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to sell some properties forfeited to the federal government on behalf of the commission. Abdurrahman was jailed after facing trial on 2-count charges bordering on intent to defraud and obtaining under false pretense the tune of 35 million naira only. In view of his plea, prosecution counsel Musa Issa took the case to full trial, during which he presented 3 witnesses while the defendant stood as lone witness in his defense. Upon conclusion of the case, Justice Saminu, convinced by the weight of evidence presented by Issa, found the defendant guilty as charged on count 2 and acquitted him on count 1. Still talking about corruption matters, the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Dr. Musa Aliyu, says any public servant found culpable of corruption and financial misappropriation will face the full wrath of the law. He also reiterated the Commission's zero tolerance to vandalism of power infrastructure. Dr. Aliyu, who made this declaration when the management of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company paid him a visit in Abuja, gave assurance to the delegation of the Commission's support in preventing corruption within government agencies. He emphasized the need to safeguard power infrastructure from criminals driven by personal interest. The ICPC chairman, who also highlighted the national anti-corruption strategy, stressed the importance of galvanizing public support in the fight against corruption and promoting ethical orientation among public officers. The managing director of NDPHC, Jennifer Adigie, noted that the visit was aimed at fostering collaboration to uphold transparency in the power sector. To health. 11 primary healthcare centers in Chikun Kajuru Federal Constituency of Kaduna State have received 575 medical equipment as part of 2024 constituency project initiated by the former lawmaker, Mr. Ekene Aburaka Adams. Leader of the labor movement in Kaduna, Mr. Kizito Madu, who disclosed this during the distribution, said the project was the fulfillment of campaign promises made by the late lawmaker before his demise last year. Daniel Kalmax reports.
In line with the saying that
the beauty of democracy is when its dividends is being delivered to the electorate to enhance their well-being for socio-economic growth and development. It is on this premise that communities of Nasarawa, Romi, Kala, Rido, Narai, and Kakao, among others in Chikun and Kajuru Federal Constituency, could not hide their joy and excitement when they received hospital equipment as part of campaign promises of their late representative at the National Assembly, Ekene Abubakar Adams. The medical equipment included hospital beds and mattresses, delivery beds, drip stands, and lockers, among others. Kizito Madu said the gesture would leave a lasting impression, adding that since the assumption of office of the late lawmaker, the constituency had witnessed a series of developmental projects.
Since Ekene got last seat, it has been one project or the other. These are things that are rare, as if local government has not been existing before. This is the first time we are just seeing things, even in depth. Across the nation, I doubt if there is anywhere something like this is happening, that 1 year after the guy left, all projects are still being commissioned his name.
The former director of finance to the late lawmaker, Alex Adanu, who spoke alongside Ezekiel Samuel Goni, urged the constituents to ensure they elect a representative that will deliver more democratic dividends in the upcoming by-election.
Good governance deserves continuity. If God permits, there will be continuity. All these things that are happening here, for we, is not new. It's just a normal day project.
Traditional title holder in the area, the Madachin Kajuru, Alhaji Musa Al-Hassan, who spoke alongside some health workers, urged them to make judicious use of the equipment to enhance health care service delivery.
They are not allowed to go and sell it or to misuse it somehow. It is very important to use it as how the committee said.
The provision of this item, it would enable us to provide good service delivery in our PSC.
Chikun Kajuru, and that's the passion of Honorable Ekene. He's very, very passionate about the health of the people of Chikun Kajuru.
The late Ekene Adams, no doubt, has left an indelible mark in his constituency that will last for a long period of time. There is an ongoing permutation and campaign in Chikun and Kajuru Federal Constituency against the upcoming by-elections to fill the vacant seat of the late lawmaker. It is expected that the electorate will let go of their interest and elect a candidate that will deliver to them the dividends of democracy. In Kaduna, Daniel Kalmax, Radio Nigeria.
Some callers on Radio Link, a Radio Nigeria audience participatory program, have called for sustained establishment of technical schools in line with the 6334 system to boost skill acquisition in secondary schools. One of them, Wale Fashakun from Abuja, urged the government to stop playing politics with education and implement policies that would facilitate skill acquisition for the youths to boost employment and economic growth in the country.
It's very unfortunate. When you have passed through university, secondary school, you are now going to NYS to start quick skill acquisition. It's insulting. If they have implemented that program of Shagari, then by now we'll not be talking about what we are saying. We are playing politics with our education, and it's not the best. The earlier we start and start catching them young, it's not after secondary school. We should start with secondary and go back to that policy of 3364.
Another caller, Sadiq Umar from Jos, emphasized the need for the government and private institutions to stop the discrimination in educational certificates, especially higher national diploma, HND, and degrees, to encourage youths to acquire skills while in tertiary institutions.
You see, in terms of the difference between HND and degree is something that is very, very unfortunate, but it has to be rescheduled. Because when we look at the skills which the polytechnic go through, it is very, very important one. When we look at what is happening in the degree sector, you see that a person will graduate with a technician, will graduate as an engineer, but he cannot afford to do what he's supposed to do.
Chief Fidel Oyinike, who called in from Owerri, the Imo State capital, appealed to the federal and state governments to embrace tuition-free education for secondary school students.
Technical education, especially at that level, secondary school level, should be made free of charge, or at least subsidized in such a way that those who wouldn't want to go to conventional secondary schools should go to technical schools, not just government technical schools, and even private people should be encouraged to establish technical education.
Chief Charles Obioha from Imo State stressed the need for more establishment of refineries and more reduction in fuel pump price to have direct impact on food production. 20 minutes past 7 it is. You're listening to the news on the network service of Radio Nigeria. The headlines this morning: House of Representatives seeks better welfare for journalists. EFCC impounds 8 trucks conveying suspected illegal solid minerals in Benue State. Still to come, Akwa Ibom Chief Judge pardons 55 inmates. U.S. expels South African ambassador for criticizing President Trump. The State House diary, sports, commentary, cyber scoop, newspaper headlines, and weather report. Stay tuned.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
As part of its financial literacy and public enlightenment mandate, the Bankers Committee has come up with the 2025 MSME radio show. The objectives is to deepen MSME understanding of the evolving changes in the subsector, business strategies for growth, and various national and international policy. Financial experts from deposit money banks, development partners, regulatory institutions, and successful entrepreneurs would arm listeners with premium financial knowledge. Tune in to the network service of Radio Nigeria between 5 to 6 p.m. every Monday. Topics to be covered are cashless policy and alternative payment channels, contactless payment options, sourcing FX, agency banking, raising capital, and cross-border trade. To find out more or register, visit www.smegrowth.ng on Facebook and Instagram at Bankers Committee, FLPE.
Every day, children across the globe suffer abuses of their human rights, which violates the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Children.
For children living on the streets, it is almost impossible obtaining these rights. Rights like getting access to clean water, nutrition, basic social amenities, physical and psychological protection remains a dream.
How have we fared as far as the welfare of our children is concerned?
Join us every Sunday at 12:30 p.m. on the network service of Radio Nigeria as we beam our light on Street Children. Street Children, giving voice to the voiceless
and hope to the hopeless.
Remember, every Sunday at 12:30 p.m. on the network service of Radio Nigeria. Don't miss it.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
It's 22 minutes past 7. It's good to know you're tuned. The Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom State, Justice Akaite Fabian Obut, has ordered the release of 55 inmates across the 3 custodial centers in the state. A breakdown of the pardoned inmates showed that 4 were released from Ikorabasi, 2 from Eket, 11 from Ikotekbene, while 38 regained freedom from the Uyo Custodial Center. The inmates were released during Justice Fabian Obut's official visit to the custodial facilities across the 3 senatorial districts. The Chief Judge, who went through the case files of the inmates during a special session, observed that most of them had committed minor offenses and spent more time in custody than the required sentence if found guilty of the crimes. She therefore released some on compassionate and health grounds, while others were released due to lack of diligent prosecution. One of the released inmates at Ikotekbene Custodial Center, Friday Okoro, had been in custody for over 3 years without trial for stealing his cousin's coconuts. Justice Fabian Obut urged the released inmates to turn a new leaf and channel acts that might bring them back to the center. The Chief Judge lamented the number of missing case files while the accused remained in custody. She charged prosecutors to ensure that no one is denied justice. The Controller of Correctional Service in the state, Frank Okonkwo, appreciated Justice Fabian Obut's gesture and highlighted some challenges confronting the service, including dilapidated facilities and the lack of logistics to convey inmates to the court. A key figure in the ongoing Kano Emirates dispute, Alhaji Aminu Danagundi, has called for strict adherence to the recent Court of Appeal ruling, which ordered the maintenance of the status quo pending the Supreme Court's decision. Alhaji Danagundi, while addressing newsmen at Nasarawa Mini Palace, emphasized that the court's ruling must be respected by all parties, including security agencies. He urged everyone to abide by the order, noting that the case involves key security institutions, including the Inspector General of Police, the Department of State Services, and the military. Danagundi advised Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf to respect the ruling and express his willingness to maintain cordial relations. Alhaji Danagundi stated that those appointed recently under the repealed Kano Emirate Council law should vacate their position in compliance with the ruling. To Abia State, the governor there, Alex Oti, has described road projects as catalyst to development and economic growth. Dr. Oti, who made this known during the inauguration of reconstructed 23.7 Ndoro and Talaku road networks in Umuahia South and Ikuano local government areas of the state, constructed by Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, pledged the willingness of the state to partner NDDC for rapid development of the region. Gabriel Okichuku has details.
The 23.7 kilometers network of roads, which were awarded in 2019, include 18.25 kilometers Ndoro Kalaku road networks with drains and a carriage width of 7.3 meters, as well as installation of 687 units of all-in-one monocrystalline solar street lights in Ikuano local government area, and 5.5 kilometers Amoba Oboro Road with 221 monocrystalline solar street lights in Umuahia South local government area, Abia State. The Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Oti, represented by the Chief of Staff, Abia State, Dr. Caleb Ajaba, described the project as a move to take development to rural areas and enhance food production.
Your partnership has been instrumental in addressing the pressing infrastructural challenges we face.
In the same vein, Minister of Regional Development, Chief Abubakar Momo, who maintained that the inauguration of projects across the region was to transform oil-rich Niger Delta region and boost economic activities, promised the residents that Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, will rebuild Ikweke Central School, Oboro, venue of the event as requested in the address. On his part, Chairman Board of NDDC, Mr. Chedebie, assured that the board and management will continue to work for the interests of the people. Similarly, Managing Director NDDC, Dr. Samuel Obuku, explained that new series of project inauguration was in fulfillment of the mandate of Mr. President under Renewed Hope agenda to take development to the hinterlands.
I just want to let you know that the new NDDC that you see is an NDDC that carries out its project based on needs assessments.
While expressing joy over the development, traditional ruler of Ikuano community, Eze Moniya applauded the interventionist agency for starting the projects in their domain. In Oboro, Gabriel Okichuku, Radio Nigeria.
The federal, state and local governments reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening primary healthcare centers across the country, adopting a set of principles aimed at sustaining past gains and accelerating service delivery. At the end of the national stakeholder engagement on accelerating improvement in primary healthcare in Nigeria with local government financial autonomy in Abuja, the executive director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Mui Aino, explained that the meeting resulted in key resolutions focused on 4 pillars, which include governance, finance, human resources, and service delivery. He revealed that stakeholders had commenced the process of developing a clear roadmap for implementing the agreed frameworks, including policy reviews, rule definitions, and legal amendments to enhance effective collaboration. Dr. Aino said the meeting was built upon the Supreme Court ruling of last year, which granted financial autonomy to local government stakeholders and pledged the agency's commitment to support states and local governments with equipment, training, oversight, and the provision of essential medicines. The Esukari, Nasarawa State, Dr. Luka Panya Baba, has reiterated his commitment to unite ethnic groups in the area for peace and development. He stated this during the coronation of Wakili Madara in Karu Chiefdom, Nasarawa State. The Esukari, represented by the Mother King Karu, Joshua Zakwali, urged the people of the area to continue supporting government policies to boost socio-economic development.
We don't want to quarrel with anyone so that peace will rest.
The newly coronated Wakili Nadara in Karu Chiefdom, Mr. Peter Pada, thanked the Isukaru for the opportunity to serve his people and pledged to ensure effective representation.
Prayerfully invite our people who have to come back to begin to see how we can build up our chiefdom, that is to say at Nkaro local government. We will come together to see how we can move forward ahead in all that God has done today.
Representatives of other tribes at the event pledged their support to mobilize the subjects to ensure that there is peace in the community.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
NAFDAC that we do due diligence, because our goal, our mission is to safeguard the health of our country, and we will never compromise on that. It's a mandate. COVID-19 vaccines are new, and the side effects or adverse events must be well monitored. Therefore, if NAFDAC does not approve, the public should not use.
Incisive. NAFDAC on your health every Monday at 4:30 in the evening. NAFDAC on your health. It's all about your health. Join us every Monday, 4:30 p.m. on the network service of Radio Nigeria. Don't miss it.
As the roar of a lion reverberates across the animal kingdom, so does the news in the network service of Radio Nigeria reach all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria and beyond. Radio Nigeria, the strength of a lion in every newscast.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Now to foreign news. The U.S. is expelling South Africa's ambassador to Washington, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio describing him as a race-baiting politician. In a post on X, Rubio accused South Africa Ambassador Ebrahim Rasool of hating the U.S. and President Donald Trump, and said the ambassador was no longer welcomed in the U.S. The Office for South Africa's president described the decision as regrettable, adding that the country remained committed to building a mutually beneficial relationship with the U.S. The rare move by the U.S. marks the latest development in rising tensions between the two countries. In his post on social media, Rubio linked to an article from the right-wing outlet Breitbart that quoted some of Rasool's recent remarks made during an online lecture about the Trump administration. At the event, Rasool said Trump was weaponizing the supremacism and trying to protect white victimhood as a dog whistle. At least 34 people have died in the United States, including 12 in Missouri alone, after deadly tornadoes tore through several southeastern states, flipping cars and flattening homes. According to reports in Kansas, the last 8 people died after more than 55 vehicles were involved in a crash due to a dust storm. The reports say more than 250,000 properties were without power across 7 states, including Michigan, Missouri, and Illinois, overnight into Sunday, according to Tracker Power Outage. 6 deaths were reported in Mississippi by the governor, Tat Reeves, as several tornadoes spread across the state. Flash flooding and flood warnings have also been issued in central Mississippi, eastern Louisiana, and western Tennessee, as well as parts of Alabama and Arkansas, as severe weather continues to track across the southeast. And hundreds of thousands of people have converged on Serbia's capital to stage a protest over the death of 15 people in a railway station collapse. The government records that about 107,000 people across Belgrade are participating in the protest, making it the largest in Serbia's history. The Novi Sad collapse, which killed 15 people last November, have galvanized anger toward the government and President Alexander Vučić. Demonstrators blame corruption and corner cutting for the loss of lives, while they believe the disaster reflects more than a decade of governing by the Progressive Party of Vučić, who closely associated himself with the station's recent renovation. President Vučić addressed the nation yesterday and praised the police, adding that he was proud that they've managed to preserve peace. Next is State House Diary.
Welcome to another edition of State House Diary, as we review last week's activities at the Presidential Villa, the seat of government. I am Amuludun 99.1. Last Monday, President Bola Tinubu gave assurance that his administration's economic reforms would encourage professionals who left the country in search of better opportunities to return. Speaking during the inauguration of the Planning Committee for the National Youth Conference at the State House in Abuja, President Tinubu said the ongoing economic reforms were designed to strengthen the economy for the prosperity of Nigerian youths.
Where is the investment for the infrastructure? When you listen to majority of the professionals saying we japa, they miss Nigeria, they leave Nigeria, it's because if you grow prosperity back home and you empower people, they will not bother to do that. They will stay home. This is your home to develop, build, and make prosper. Government of today is all about you. Take it very seriously. You can abuse politicians all you can, but politics is all about development and about the future generations.
President Tinubu told the 44-member planning committee that the government would implement the outcomes of their deliberations and framework for the national conference. The Minister of Youth Development, Mr. Ayodele Olawande, thanked the president for supporting young Nigerians and highlighted some achievements to include student loans, better infrastructure, and fixing passport delays. Also last week, President Bola Tinubu urged political leaders in Rivers State to follow the rule of law to ensure lasting peace and stability in the Niger Delta region, making the request during an audience with leaders and representatives of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF. President Tinubu urged stakeholders to work together and support the implementation of judicial decisions. The president said he spoke with Governor Siminalayi Fubara about the need to toe the path of peace.
So this is a nation of rule of law. I should not be here as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria if there's no rule of law. I have total confidence in our judiciary. Expectations. Human beings can make errors. But when the Supreme Court is spoken, they are said. Please go back home and help him implement those recommendations within the shortest possible time. I put the ball back in your court. Because privately, openly, I have intervened, counseled the governor. Only yesterday I told him again, pursue the path of peace and stood the counter.
The president also expressed his administration's commitment to developing the Niger Delta and ensuring that the people benefit from economic and infrastructure projects, including new ports and coastal road projects. The president also hosted state governors, ministers, and heads of paramilitary agencies to an iftar dinner at the State House, Abuja. President Bola Tinubu called on governors, ministers, and other political leaders to prioritize policies and initiatives that directly benefit the poor and vulnerable in the society. He emphasized the importance of selfless leadership and urged those in government to ensure that public resources are used to improve the lives of citizens.
It means we work collectively hard to turn around those who are in the cabinet with me. Remember one thing I said for the first Federal Executive Council, that here we are with an attempt to fetch water from a dry well. We are working hard to make sure that you have water to drink. We make sure that we can only spend the money but not the people. And you at the subnational level too, you are doing all you can to spend the money and not the people. I thank all of you as governors. The history will just be there for you to realize and remember. Look upon yourself as a great navigator that will bring this country back to its promising self. It's a great nation.
This event marked the beginning of such gatherings in this year's Ramadan season, as the president also hosted other groups within the past week, including the Senate leadership. Also within the week under review, Vice President Kashim Shettima called for unity and collaboration among leaders to sustain the gains of reforms by the present administration. Speaking during the iftar hosted by the President for the Senate leadership, Vice President Shettima drew attention to the falling food prices, declining price of petrol, and stability in the forex market as evidence of the gains of the President's bold decisions.
And here we are, NNPC and Dangote are struggling to see who will sell oil at the lowest price. During Ramadan season, traditionally prices of foodstuff tend to rise astronomically. This time around, it's coming down. Prices are coming down. So we'll continue to nurture this relationship and take it to greater heights.
Speaking earlier on behalf of the senators, Senate President Godswill Akpabio thanked President Tinubu for the support given to the 10th Senate, including the President's approvals to legislations passed by the Chamber. Senator Akpabio said the Senate united across party lines to provide the needed incentive for the actualization of the renewed hope agenda, just as he assured of better and improved representation of the people in the coming months and years. Well, that's a package on this week's edition of State House Diary. Join us for a fresh edition, same time next Sunday. I am Oledo Mbiwe.
To sports, Flamingos of Nigeria humble South Africa to reach the final qualifying round of the 2025 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup as Rangers beat Kwara United in Nigeria Premier Football League action. And Lambo Datong has details of these and more.
The Flamingos of Nigeria got the double over the Botswana of South Africa after beating them 2-0 at the Remo Star Stadium in Ikene in the second round game of the 2025 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifiers on Saturday to progress to the final qualifying round 5-1 on aggregate, having won the reverse fixture 3-1 away in Pretoria last weekend. Imo strikers forward Chidi Harmony and Aishat Animation scored the goals on 37 and 56 minutes to seal victory for the coach Bankole Olowokore guided girls, who are through to the final round of the qualifiers, where they will face either Algeria or Botswana, who play today in Algiers, with the Southern Africans holding a 2-1 advantage from the first leg. Champions Rangers International moved up to third position with 45 points in the Nigeria Premier Football League table after thrashing Kwara United 3-0 in a match with 29 game on Saturday. Goals by Chiedozie Okorie, Isaac Saviour and Frank Wumiro on 28 and 62 minutes gave the Flying Antelopes a vital 3 points. On Friday, Niger Tornadoes pipped Katsina United 1-0. Today, El Kanemi Warriors will be aiming at the scalp of Rivers United when both sides clash this afternoon in continuation of match day 29 in the NPFL. In Kano, the Sai Masugida Kano Pillars welcome Nasarawa United as Abia Warriors battle Bendel Insurance, while Aqua United clash with Shooting Stars. Yenegua will play host to the fixture between Bayelsa United and Lobby Stars. Ikorodu City tackle Eyimba in Lagos as Remo Stars face Heartland in Ikene. Tomorrow is Sunshine Stars versus Plateau United. Remo Stars top the MPFL table with 54 points, 8 ahead of Rivers United, who are second. Lobby Stars are bottom with 23 points, followed by Aqua United on 28 points. In the 2025 Bayelsa Governors Football Tournament tagged Prosperity Cup, Crusaders FC of Peritorbene advanced to the next stage of the competition from the Keremo Center after beating Isampo 1-0, as Samba Boys FC also defeated Ayamasa FC 3-1 on penalties after both sides played 1-1 in full time. Today matches begin in the Sagbama Center with Idialu FC facing Agbere FC at 1 p.m. while Odoni FC battle Ebedebiri FC from 3 p.m. Two-time bronze medalists at the International Handball Federation IHF Men's Emerging Nations Championship, Bulgaria secured their maiden final spot with a clear 30-23 win over Nigeria in the first semi-final of the 5th edition of the competition on Saturday, after finishing third 2 times in 2019 and 2023. Securing the bronze medal, Bulgaria will now fight for the trophy, having ensured their 3rd consecutive medal at the IHF Men's Emerging Nations Championship. Their opponents will be decided after the second semi-final game between Great Britain and the United States of America. For Nigeria and an African team who finished undefeated and joined top in Group B on 5 points with USA, who they tied 31-31, then beat Azerbaijan 29-17 and Moldova 25-22. This is the best finishing position at the IHF Men's Emerging Nations Championship. They will still need to fight in a bronze medal match today to finish on the podium. The 2024-2025 Carabao Cup final sees Liverpool take on Newcastle United at Wembley Stadium in London today at 5:30 p.m. and slots men are the defending champions and record winners of the Carabao Cup, winning their 10th trophy last season. It has been 17 years since the Magpies won a major domestic trophy. Since winning the FA Cup in 1955, Newcastle have lost 2 finals and 2 more League Cup finals, including in 2023 when Manchester United lifted the cup. In the Premiership, Nottingham Forest made good their chase for the UEFA Champions League qualification next season after beating Ipswich 4-2 away on Saturday to compound the relegation woes of their host. Forest remain third but now have 54 points, one behind Arsenal, while Ipswich are 18th with 17 points. At the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City and Brighton played a 2-2 draw as Pep Guardiola's men are 5th with 48 points and the coach has accepted the outcome in good faith.
We had a lot as well. Unfortunately, first half to the Savinho post and the last cross from Kevin, so we were close, but unfortunately we couldn't do it. And of course, we compliment from Brighton with a good team, and good result for us.
Southampton remained bottom with 9 points after losing 1-2 to Wolves as Everton and West Ham settled for a 1-1 draw. Today, the London Derby holds as Arsenal hosts Chelsea in a huge Premier League clash this afternoon from 2:30 at the Emirates Stadium. The Gunners are 15 points behind leaders Liverpool in the table, but can at least close the gap to 12 with a victory, giving Ancelot's side are in Carabao Cup final action instead. Mikel Arteta's charges are unbeaten in their last 6 Premier League games against Chelsea, while the Blues have lost each of their last 3 Premier League away games. Chelsea, meanwhile, are chasing Champions League qualification. Enzo Maresca's side are 4th heading into this weekend's round of fixtures after the Blues beat Leicester last weekend. Overall, Arsenal have won more games in the rivalry's history, having won 83 times to Chelsea's 66 with 61 draws. Also today, Fulham face Tottenham in another London derby at the same time, just as Leicester City take on Manchester United later in the day. I am Alambo Datoye.
Today's commentary is on Nigeria's path to self-reliance and economic development, written by Bashir Musa.
The statements attributed to the U.S. President Donald Trump on diplomatic ties and deportation of foreign nationals serve as a wake-up call for Nigeria and African leaders to take responsibility of their own development. Indeed, it is time Nigeria takes a critical look at her path to growth and development. For too long, the country has relied on external aids and supports, which invariably has hindered its growth. The country has been consistently ranked low on transparency and accountability indices due to the widespread corruption permeating all levels of government and the society. President Trump's message emphasizes the need for individuals to hold their leaders accountable for the state of the nation. This means demanding greater transparency and accountability from government officials and institutions. Mr. Trump's statement also highlights the need for countries to be self-sufficient and not to rely on external organizations for support. Nigeria must prioritize self-reliance and develop its own capacity to drive growth and development. This requires investing in education, infrastructure and innovation, as well as promoting entrepreneurship and private sector development. In addition, President Trump's message emphasizes the need for Nigeria to prioritize her interests and develop policies that will promote the welfare and well-being of its citizens. This requires asserting the country's independence and sovereignty and also engaging with international communities on mutually beneficial terms. This requires leaders who are committed to serving the public interest rather than personal or sectional interests. The country needs leaders who can inspire and mobilize citizens to work towards a common goal of national development and growth. This requires citizens who are well informed, engaged, and active in demanding accountability and transparency from the leaders. Citizens must also be willing to contribute to the country's development through their skills, talents, and resources. It is imperative for Nigeria to take a new path, one that prioritizes self-reliance, accountability, and national sovereignty. The country must invest in education, infrastructure, and innovation, and promote entrepreneurship and private sector development. Citizens must be willing to contribute to the country's development through their skills, talents, and resources. With determination and hard work, Nigeria can overcome its challenges and achieve greatness. It is of greater necessity for Nigeria's education system to be overhauled to emphasize skills development and entrepreneurship. To this end, the country's universities and polytechnics should focus on producing graduates who are equipped with practical skills and knowledge that can be applied to the real world. This will enable them to create jobs and stimulate economic growth. In addition, the government should prioritize infrastructure development, particularly in the areas of transportation, energy, and communication. This will facilitate trade, commerce, industry, and create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Furthermore, Nigeria needs to diversify her economy and reduce dependence on oil exports. It is also imperative for Nigeria to address its security challenges, particularly in the area of terrorism, kidnapping, and armed robbery. The government should work to establish a strong and effective security system that can protect the lives and property of citizens. No doubt, it is time for Nigeria to wake up and take control of her own destiny, which requires strong and effective leadership, as well as the active participation and engagement of citizens.
Olayemi Daniel there on the commentary Nigeria's Path to Self-Reliance and Economic Development was written by Bashir Musa. Now to Cyberscope, where we bring you trend-shaping conversations across Nigeria's social media space that is always buzzing and netizens are always there talking. Now, well, there are heated debates and mixed reactions as major stories continue to trend. From political drama in Rivers State to a core member's tearful outcry over the economy. Here's what's making waves. Minister of Federal Capital Territory and former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike made a bold move by visiting Rivers State despite rising political tension. His visit was initially met with resistance. The king of Amalama Kingdom reportedly petitioned the police to revoke permission for the event, and a group of women blocked the road in protest, refusing to let him enter their land. Their anger stems from Wike's alleged comment referring to the Ijaw community as the minority of minorities. If you remember that media chat he had, a remark that sparked outrage. However, in a surprising turn, he eventually made it to the reception, and reports suggest the crowd was massive. His presence in Rivers has certainly got people talking. NYSC is trending on X after a female core member went viral in a video where she broke down in tears over the harsh economic situation in Nigeria. She lamented how difficult it is to survive on the 33,000 naira monthly allowance, but things took an unexpected turn when she claimed she began receiving repeated calls from NYSC officials, which she saw as intimidation. I mean, why are you intimidating me? The incident has ignited conversations about the rising cost of living and whether Nigerians truly have the freedom to voice their struggles. Meanwhile, music star Ashake and his father remain in the headlines, with Nigerians unable to stop discussing their family saga. While details remain unclear, opinions are sharply divided. Some criticize the drama, while others are showing sympathy. Some Nigerians are even calling for financial support for the family, making this an unexpected social media trend. Well, stay connected with @Radio Nigeria and join the conversation using hashtag Cyberscope. It was